Welcome to the Wellness Policy webinar for public involvement. We are happy to be here to present the second webinar on the final rules of the USDA Local School Wellness Policy. As a reminder, these webinars are being provided as a series to help you revise your school wellness policy. All webinars on the 8 elements of the school wellness policy requirements are available on the NDE website for your reference. The outline of today's webinar is to provide a summary of last week's information that was shared and to introduce the final provisions of the public involvement component. We will highlight some of the administrative review questions regarding this element, as well as provide some possible answers for these questions. We will identify best practices regarding this element, and we will recognize the role that other supporting agencies can provide in assisting schools in implementing public involvement. We will share some of the team nutrition resources to help schools meet this requirement. And finally, we will identify your next steps on meeting public involvement requirements. A recap from last webinar. As you all know, on July 29, 2016, USDA finalized regulations to create a framework and guidelines for written wellness policies established by local education agencies. The final rule requires LEAs to begin developing a revised local school wellness policy during the 2016-17 school year. LEAs must fully comply with the requirements of the final rule by June 30, 2017. The new regulations require districts to include the following elements: public involvement, nutrition guidelines, nutrition education, nutrition promotion, public notification, physical activity and education, monitoring and evaluation. The new regulations require schools implement the local wellness policy, monitor and evaluate their policies with periodic updates to the community on the status of the policy. As mentioned earlier, Nebraska Team Nutrition will provide more in-depth information about each element of the policy with language, resources, and additional information that you can use to update your wellness policy. And we encourage you to review the other recorded wellness policies available on the NDE website. Today, we will be focusing on the first element of the school wellness policy, public involvement. The final rule indicates that each LEA must allow parents, students, representatives of the School Food Service Authority, PE teachers, school health professionals, and the school board and school administrators, as well as the general public, to participate in the development, implementation, and periodic review and update of the local school wellness policy. LEAs must include a written local school wellness policy, a plan for involving those stakeholders as listed above. The broader stakeholder involvement will ensure coordination across the school environment and throughout the community so that you are better able to support the goals of your wellness policy. Local education agencies must also establish policy leadership for one or more of the LEAs and/or school officials who have authority and responsibility to ensure each school complies with the policies. Transparency and inclusion are an important aspect of the implementation process. However, LEAs have discretion in exactly how they can implement these requirements. While Food and Nutrition Services at USDA expects LEAs to actively seek members for their local school wellness policy committee that represent the categories described in the statute and, to the extent possible, allow them to participate, there are a variety of factors to consider when seeking the right combination of representatives. No single department or group has all of the information needed to develop a comprehensive policy. Parents spend most of the time with their children and best understand the children's food habits and choices. In addition to the suggested team members that are on in the included slide, LEAs are also encouraged to include Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program education staff or SNAP Ed professionals that are in your community. We will discuss more on how to involve local community members as part of your Wellness Policy Committee revision work group. Each LEA is best suited to determine the distinctive needs of the community it serves. For example, school health professionals may include a health education teacher, school health services staff, such as a nurse or medication aide, School health professionals like a mental health professional or a school counselor are great examples of the way that you can include a variety of stakeholders in your meetings. You may also include the general public, or such as a local dietitian, a business representative, or other healthcare professional that resides in your community, or is a civil leader interested in children's nutrition, education, health, and physical activity priorities. This is one of the questions that is included in the administrative review. Who is involved in representing and updating the local school wellness policy? What is their relationship with the School Food Service Authority? Here is an example of how to answer this question. The superintendent will convene the School Wellness Council and facilitate development of updates to the wellness policy and will ensure each school's compliance with the updated policy. Each school will designate a school wellness policy coordinator who will ensure compliance with the policy in their school building. Once members of the school wellness policy are identified, the LEA is encouraged to make available to the public and the school community a list of names and position titles or relationships to the school of individuals who are part of the wellness policy committee, as well as the information of the coordinators for each of the LEAs for each school. Committee members can be identified on the LEA school website, in a parent newsletter, or in other regular channels of communication that the LEA. Here is another administrative review question. How are potential stakeholders made aware of their ability to participate in the development, review, update, and implementation of the local school wellness policy? Provide documentation to support the response or appropriate web addresses. Here is a sample policy language that you might include in your school wellness policy. The district will actively communicate ways in which the representatives of the District Wellness Council and others can participate in the development, implementation, and periodic review and update of the wellness policy through a variety of means appropriate for that district. The district will develop a continued relationship with community partners such as hospitals, universities, colleges, local businesses in support of the wellness policy implementation. Existing and new community partnerships and sponsorships will be evaluated to ensure that they are consistent with the wellness policy and its goals and guidelines. This is another sample policy language. The district will convene a representative district wellness committee that meets at least 4 times per year to establish goals for and oversee school health and safety policies and programs, including the development, implementation, and periodic review and update of this district-level wellness policy. Yet another example shows that the school wellness membership will represent all school levels, elementary and secondaries, and include, to the extent possible, but not limited to, parents and caregivers, students, representatives of the school nutrition program, physical education teachers, health education teachers, school health professionals, nurses, physicians, dentists, health educators, and our other allied health professionals who provide school health services, mental health or social services such as school counselors, psychologists, social workers, or psychiatrists, school administrators such as the superintendent, principal, vice principal, or other administrators, school board members, health professionals, dietitians, doctors, nurses, dentists in the community that are interested in child health, and the general public. You may be asking, so why have a school wellness council? Simply put, schools cannot do this alone. Schools must utilize the resources of the community and the connections and work in partnership between the school and the community to include parents and students. The wellness policy recognizes that the health and the academic success of children in schools go hand in hand with the health of children. Research suggests that the more effective vehicle for interacting with the local community on school health issues is through a school wellness council. There are many ways that staff and schools at the local level can help ensure that the School Wellness Council provides a community voice in planning and implementing comprehensive school health programs. By creating a School Wellness Council, schools can find partners within their community to identify health problems and concerns, set priorities, and design solutions collectively. When engaged as decision makers, communities have proven time and again that they are up to the task of addressing local problems and supporting their schools in their responsibility, and even potentially providing funding for wellness initiatives. It starts with the foundation. Building a successful school wellness committee is the key for a healthier school environment. Influencing students to lead healthy and productive lives is likely to be most effective when schools, community, and parents work together. Each has a unique resource and can access students in ways that others can't, and each has a different means of influencing the behavior of young people. The coordination of these efforts requires planning. So local school wellness committees, also known as councils or school health advisory councils, are one means of planning and organizing consistent and focused action around this effort. They provide the structure for the process, which assesses needs, priorities, and identifies action steps and shares in implementation and securing resources. This community can also provide direction and insight to administrators and becomes advocates for the healthy school environment. These slides take a look at reasons why people join school wellness committees in the first place, potentially to inform the community about the school and the health issues, to influence decision makers on the importance of implementing programs and policies that reduce the incidence or prevalence of childhood obesity or other health issues. Implement programs or policies around increased physical activity and nutrition for students, and they have an interest in children's health and want to create a healthy school environment for all students and staff. Here are some best practices regarding school wellness committees. A school wellness committee can be formed at the district or school building level. The group typically includes 10 to 20 members, includes school staff, community members, family members, parents, and students. Possible members of a school wellness committee are listed here. This slide provides you with suggestions on who can be included in your school wellness council. If there are other members that you feel would be beneficial on your council or who have a vested interest in the mission and vision of the committee, please invite them to join as well. For example, school board members, personal trainers, coaches, nurses in the community, or a physician. It is important to have a diverse group of members that can offer different perspectives to the decision-making process of the committee. Each group brings a unique contribution that is valuable in creating a healthier school environment for students and staff. So what types of people would make good committee members? As you get ready to convene a wellness team or add to the mission of a current group, carefully consider what must be included and what potential members will be asked to do as part of the process of gaining input and feedback in the wellness policy. Are members going to be willing to be active, or will they provide valuable feedback and insight on what's best for the school community? The quantity and quality of the School Wellness Council are primarily determined by its members. Some criteria to consider when selecting members are: do they have a demonstrated interest in children and youth, an awareness of the community, of the culture, political, geographical, and economic structure of the community? Can they really facilitate the goal accomplishment that you want to set out to achieve? Do they have professional abilities with training in youth and related disciplines? Are they willing to devote time? Before asking any member of a council, communicate about the time commitment to determine the willingness to make this a priority for them. Make sure that they're representing a certain portion of the population. Make sure they're credible members who are respected by those who will be on the committee with them. Honest, trustworthy, dependable members of a committee are very important to the overall characteristics of the school council's ability to get activities completed. Don't forget to consider naysayers or local resistors to the table. What might be good for one might not be good for all, and they can help see through that strategy. Here are some tips for school wellness team management. The best practices indicate that committees meet every 4 to 6 weeks, or a minimum of 4 times each year. They follow a process. Establish meeting times, get them on their calendar, and be consistent. Use an action plan as a standing agenda so you have a clear picture of what your school wellness council is working on. Evidence suggests that the non-hierarchical and shared approach to leadership is more effective to engage committee members and pull the strengths of the individuals on your committee while contributing to a working environment where all members feel valued. Make sure members feel a part of the decision-making and action planning process. Don't come to meetings with decisions already being made without their input and buy-in. Recognize members for their accomplishments and their time spent on the activities. Consider dividing teamwork into work or action groups that can help gain their valuable insight and help complete action items needed to be addressed by the committee. Nebraska Extension has an extension cohort across the state that is focused on nutrition and wellness. These staff have been trained by NDE on the school wellness policy elements. They recognize your time is valuable and that it is hard for you to learn everything about school wellness policy when you're busy teaching, running a kitchen, or helping your school to be at its best, or by just listening to webinars. By utilizing Nebraska Extension nutrition and wellness staff's expertise, you would be bringing in a community member to your school wellness committee, and that has background and knowledge needed to positively impact your committee and the work that you will do and can help facilitate the process. What can Extension offer to the school wellness committee? Listed are multiple examples of how we can help your school's committee. Some of the key examples are providing resources, helping with a nutrition or wellness event, marketing nutrition to parents and schools, starting nutrition programming, helping make community connections, being involved in school wellness activities and other events, and helping staff apply for nutrition or health-related grants. In addition, Extension staff are able to help include students in wellness policy choices by empowering teachers to form a wellness committee and be engaged in wellness topics, helping schools increase their wellness knowledge, and overall providing the support necessary to expand your school wellness policy work. Please contact your Nebraska Extension agent in the office nearest you to find out how or who can help you work towards your wellness goals. So now that you have all this information, what's next now? The School Wellness Council might include the building level administrator and other staff members willing to take on a leadership role, nutrition, food service staff, PE, health instructors, school nurses, custodians, parents, students, community members with expertise or an interest in child health or nutrition, local coalitions, parks and recreation departments, guidance counselors or social service providers, safety compliance offers, health and school environment workers, and staff wellness advocates like Extension staff. These early stages of a collaborative are very important to its long-term success. By allowing for plenty of front-end time, a collaborative can ensure the development of a strong foundation. These early stages are allocated to a variety of relationship building and planning activities, such as learning about each other's organizations, establishing trust, developing leadership structures, and management capacity that can be sustained over time. In contributing to a solid foundation, these activities are fundamental to the development of a shared vision and plan for sequential change. In addition to having a diverse group of members with a vested interest in the mission of the school wellness policy, it is important to consider certain aspects when choosing members. Involve people with a deep understanding of the culture, norms, and dynamics of your community. Involve people with a passion for kids' health. Include people who can commit the time that is necessary to work on the wellness policy revisions. Include key players, influencers in your school community, trained in youth-related disciplines. And also involve formal and informal members of your community. Before you recruit your school wellness council members, make sure that you articulate your purpose clearly. Draft school wellness council roles and responsibilities, and have a meeting structure in mind. How often and how long you will meet. Make sure it is clear for everyone involved. When approaching new school wellness council members, put yourself in their shoes. Be sure to help them understand what they can contribute and how they can benefit the larger group. Be sensitive to constraints on their time and resources, and be inclusive in the group that you recruit. Active support from your administration is a valuable element and often key to moving things forward with the school wellness policy revisions. If they are not present at meetings, make sure to point out what activities were included and what progress has been made, including ideas shared. Having a diverse group of parents, community members, and staff to share the desired vision for the school can have a tremendous influence on what can be moved forward. Do not overlook hidden powerhouses in your school and community. Those hidden powerhouses may be your school administrative assistants or staff in the office, a paraprofessional, or a leader in your PTA or PTO organizations. Finding a consistent meeting time helps people to keep your school wellness council on their mind. It eliminates last-minute reminders and keeps the group moving forward. Utilize a standing agenda of your action plan. Lets everyone know what needs to be done and who has engaged to do so. Very important to have engagement from the entire school wellness council to ensure ownership and that a group effort is put forward. Maintain consistent and effective channels of communication. It is invaluable to building and working relationships. This is also fundamental to the success of the collaborative as they contribute to trusting relationships and efforts. Ensure that everyone in your council is kept in the loop. This will ensure involvement from everyone and not just a chosen few. Email can be a wonderful way to communicate, but keep in mind that some people may not utilize their email on a daily or even weekly basis. So consider other ways to communicate with a larger group. You need to include somewhere a structure for the process, an assessment, a prioritization, an action planning model, not only program focused, but environmental and cultural focused as well. Make sure resource brokering is a part of your process as well as taking action. This structure not only provides a clear roadmap for what needs to be done, what is currently being done, but also a paper trail of the journey. Complete an action plan and have an entire group take ownership. Have it on paper and use it at each meeting to show progress and accountability. Be consistent. Make sure that you have a game plan. People want to be part of something that's making a difference. They want to see their investment is going somewhere. Stick with the process. The process is what will keep your school wellness council a lean, mean fighting machine when each member has engagement. When you have a roadmap and you can see your success realized, the group will feel momentum and enthusiasm for the work that you are doing. Be sure, again, to spend your time well. Have that game plan. Engage the entire group. Everyone should feel like a valued member of the council, and if they don't, they won't continue their efforts. Action. Be sure that something that you're doing is making a significant difference. Share your success with the masses. Update the community, the school, and the staff about how your wellness policy improvement efforts are making a difference. Take time for reflection. Evaluate and make adjustment of your work. Maybe something that you selected to do isn't really working. Adjust your plan. And don't forget to celebrate. Make sure that you recognize everyone for the hard work they've put in. And finally, here are the steps for change when it comes to forming a school wellness council. Step 1. Get together. Commit to work together on school health. Involve the right people. Hold the first meeting and decide to act. Step 2. Create a vision. Develop a base of common knowledge about school health and define a shared vision widely within your school community. Step 3. Develop a plan. Identify priorities. Design an action plan and assign these action steps to specific individuals with a timeline. Step 4. Take action. Implement the plan, celebrate achievements, and recognize contributions of the group. Make sure that you evaluate the progress of your contributions and achievements while you're taking action. Step 5. Review your commitment. Build community reputation. Make sure that you deepen your commitment to the vision. Remind everyone of your future vision and recruit new members and develop new leaders. Adapt and expand your action plan whenever necessary. If there are any additional questions about how to increase public involvement as you update your school wellness policy, don't hesitate to email Zainab Rida, the Nebraska Team Nutrition Director, at zainab.rida@nebraska.gov. Thank you and have a wonderful day.